Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me here today at Kitty Witty Papercraft. My name is Amy, and in this video I'm going to share some ideas for decorating library cards and how you can also add them to your junk journals. This is the second in my Craft With Me series that I'm doing here on my channel, where I share some ideas on how to decorate basic junk journal supplies and use basic junk journal supplies in your journals and your planners. The first video actually was 2 parts, and that one covered library card pockets. So I shared that. I'll link that up below. But decorating library card pockets, and this is one of them. And so I'm going to be doing this series, and I'm going to share some ideas for how to decorate things like you see in this pocket here. Sorry. So this is a junk journal supply kit, a starter supply kit that I sell in my Etsy shop, and I just wanted to show you really quickly the sort of things that are in there. And so this series is going to show different ways to use these. So I may not do a video for each type of supply, but I think I'm going to do like these Rolodex cards. And like I said, today we're going to do library cards. I've got bingo cards and guest checks. I'll probably do some videos for those, and these tickets here. And then there's a time card and a alterations card in this kit also. So I'm just going to do some more videos sharing some ideas for how to use those. And like I said, today we're going to do library cards. So these ideas are really super simple, and there are a million things that you can do with these cards. In this video, I'm just going to show you 5 different little ideas, and then at the end, I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can use them inside of a junk journal. So I guess I'm just going to kind of go down the line and show you what I made. So I made up, one of each already, just kind of explored some ideas, and then I will make it here on the video too. But really, these don't require any special skills or tools or anything difficult at all. So you can certainly use these plain. What are so nice about library cards in junk journals is that they make a great space for journaling. So all the lines on the front and the back obviously lend themselves really well to writing on. And, if you just want to journal like your thoughts, or if you like to keep quotes in your journals, or like little lists, like, your top 10 favorite, whatever, these little cards are perfect for doing that. So you can just do it like that and do it plain without decorating the cards. But of course, if you are a crafter, you probably want to jazz them up a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. So in this one, I just did a cluster in the corner. So I love doing clusters to decorate pages because it still leaves a lot of space for you to write on and to maybe add a photo or whatever. But the clusters are really nice for that because they just kind of keep everything decorative into the corner. So when I'm doing a small space, like a library card, I will group just a small number of items together. So when you're doing a cluster or a group, it's always a good idea, like artistically speaking, to use odd numbers of items. So 3, 5, 7. It's just more pleasing to the eye. And if you're using a small space, you probably want to use fewer things. Otherwise, it'll look too cluttered. So in a small area like a library card, 3 is a great number, and I like to use a little variety in the types of things that I'm using. So one thing that is kind of the focal point, the bigger piece, and then 2 smaller pieces. And I love using florals. They are just a great anchor. And I just, I love to add pretty things to my pages, so I will use florals a lot. And then I also love words. So you could use like a label, or you could just put words, like a word sticker or a phrase sticker right on here. But a label just adds like another like little dimension. It kind of pops off the page a little bit. So you could put like a title here for whatever the theme is that you're going to use your card for. So In this one, I'm just going to use those 3 elements. And in this, in this tutorial, I'm using die cuts almost exclusively from the Reset Girl. So a lot of times, I've mentioned this before, when I do a project, I will decide what materials I want to use ahead of time and just limit myself to those. Otherwise, it's too overwhelming trying to decide where to start. You know, if you've got 3,000 die cuts in your stash, it can be kind of hard to know where to begin. So I like to sort of limit myself, and it just makes the process a lot simpler. So in this tutorial, I decided to go with the Reset Girl die cuts. I'm sure you know who she is, but if you don't, theresetgirl.com is a website where she has a shop, and she has a YouTube channel and an Instagram, and her shop on at theresetgirl.com. She's got lots of printables, and she has a lot of just vintage, retro vintage. She's got ladies. She calls them honeys. And lots of die cuts for decorating planners and journals and that sort of thing. So that's what I'm using here. So I love these honeys. I have a few of them already cut out. I just sometimes do like a fussy cut marathon, and so I have things available when I am ready to craft. And her honeys are really awesome, and they come in all different sizes. And I just store them in my little drawer containers. You might have seen on my Instagram, on my IGTV channel, I shared how I store my die cuts, and I use 2 drawer systems from the Container Store, and they have these acrylic drawers, and I have all my die cuts kind of separated in there, and I love them because I can take the drawer out and just bring it to my work table and kind of use it from there. So I love this lady right here, so I think I'm going to use her for this card. She's one of my favorites. I love her dress, the style, the colors. So I'm going to use her and a floral, probably just one of these smaller florals, and a label. So you can use like sticker labels or cut apart labels. So these are cut aparts. These are just a label that I designed actually on my computer, and I just print out and cut them out when I want to use them. And I actually think because there's already blue lines on this one, I want to use a different color. So I'm going to use yellow or pink. So yeah, these I just cut out, and I have a little trick I'm going to share with you for the corners. I love this style of label with a little like notched out corners. But they can be a little tricky. Sorry, I'm trying to cut these out. And I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. And a little trick for cutting them out. So cutting the little notches out is really hard, doing it by hand and getting it smooth and even. So for a tiny label like this size, this is a, I think it's a 2.5 inch label. I use my 1/8 inch hole punch. So it's a really small hole punch, but it's just the right size. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera. For getting the corner punched out. And it does it like really neatly. And then I'll go back in and trim up the edges, the straight edges. And for bigger labels, you can sometimes use like the regular size hole punch. It just kind of depends on the size of the label, but I know that works well for my labels. Okay, so just clean this up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, and then you just kind of play around with the placement of the items, so you're still kind of keeping a lot of space there available so you can write on it. And when I'm using a bigger die cut on something like this, I like part of it to hang over the side. It just kind of gives it more visual interest than if I were to just have everything squeezed onto the page. it's some kind of, art rule or something. I don't know. But it does make sense. And you could like trim the edge that like hangs off, and that looks neat too. And I like doing that in some applications. But for this, I think I'm just going to let her kind of hang off the side there. And then I just attach everything with a glue stick usually. I'll put her down first. This is my favorite glue stick, Elmer's Craft Bond Extra Strength. It has really good staying power, and the glue isn't like sticky. I tried another brand recently. I think it was the Scotch brand, and the glue was like really stringy and goopy. So I like this glue right here. Oops, and I probably didn't need to glue all the edges, but like the outside part that's going to hang over. But that's okay. That will just dry later. Okay, got her down. And sometimes I will put it down and not like press the whole thing down if I want to add something underneath, and you have a little bit of time before this glue dries. So that's why using a glue stick for these things is helpful. Okay. And then you can add some word stickers here. Sometimes I'll type something on my typewriter, and I love the way typewritten font looks, so I'll add that. Or you could use a word sticker. I love to use, and right now I have my favorite cardstock word phrase stickers from Maggie Holmes. I really like the ones on here, so I have that handy, and I could just add some words there. I guess we could do that. Sometimes, it'll depend on how you want to use this and what you end up writing on it, and then you might want to add your like word text at the end that kind of makes sense with what you are putting on your library card there. But just for the sake of getting that part done, sometimes, I don't mind some of the words being covered, but other times, or the flowers being covered, yeah, I think that looks fine. So that's the first one, really super simple. And like I said, you could trim this edge that's hanging off, and that will just give it a different look. But I think there's some nice visual interest there with the edge hanging off. So that's the first one. And at the end, I'm going to go back and show you like how to add each of these into a junk journal. So put that one to the side. And the next one I'm going to show you is this one. So I like adding fabric or trim or something to my journals just to change up the texture and there's so much paper when you're doing journals, so it's nice to add another texture. So fabric is obviously a great way to do that. And so for this one, again, this is just really, really simple. I had this ruffle trim, and I just glued it to the back using double-sided tape, and then I added a tab to the top, and that's also from the Reset Girl. So another way you can do that, and what I'm going to do on this card here, is I'm just going to use some vintage trim that I have. And this one, because the embroidery trim is really pretty, I don't want to put this behind the card. I'm going to actually put this right on top and do it right on the edge here, so you can see it on the edge. And then I have a fun way that I'm going to add this to my journal at the end to show you. So I like to use double-sided tape for so many things. I mean, liquid glue is great too sometimes, and I know you can use like those runner tapes. A lot of people use the little runner tapes that come in the cartridge, and those are really great and convenient and quick, but I cannot get them to work. I have like 4 of them, and I know it's probably me. There's no chance that 4 of the ones that I bought all don't work. I've tried them like both directions, and I just cannot get the adhesive to come out like smoothly, and I end up fooling around with it, like fussing with it. So they are just collecting dust. I probably should just toss them out or give them to somebody. But I love double-sided tape. So I buy this in bulk, and I think this is more economical also, and it's super sticky. So I love using it, and it's really reliable. This is the 1/4 inch size. It also comes in a 1/8 inch smaller like width, and a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch. So I have all the different sizes, and you know, depending on what you're using or needing to attach, you have different sizes to pick from. So I'm putting my glasses on. Okay. So I just add this trim right along the edge, and this trim is so pretty. I think I got this from Tiny Home Treasures. I always like to tell you where I get things. There's so many wonderful sellers on Etsy who sell vintage trims or just vintage ephemera, vintage trims, you know, all the things. And some sellers are also on Instagram, and her shop, Tiny Home Treasure, she's got lots of great vintage trims and fabrics. So they're really great. I use a lot of her stuff for my crafting. And if you haven't already seen, I have a list, a PDF that I have available free, listing all of my favorite shops where I buy my vintage ephemera, and I hope I put her on there. I'm pretty sure I did. If not, I'm going to update it, because I don't really think of her as ephemera necessarily, because I buy, like I said, the trims from her. But that list is really handy to have, especially if you don't know where to begin, like trying to buy ephemera. So if you are interested in that, you can visit my website, kittywittypapercraft.com, and there's a box like right in the middle, and it says something like, do you want to know where I get my vintage ephemera? Just put in your name and email address, and it will be sent to you. So yeah, so we got the trim on here, and then I just added a tab to the top, and I've got a few more tabs from her shop here. Let me see which one I might want to use. I kind of like this one. And my other favorite way of attaching things is a stapler. And I love this Tim Holtz tiny attacher. I just like another type of, you know, texture that you can add to your things, you know, instead of just gluing everything. Sewing is also a great way, but with these little tabs, I like to staple them. And so yeah, so that's just another simple way. And then this one, the back of the card is completely open, and you can use all that space to write on. So that is our second one. And the next one, this one is super simple. So the library card itself, I did not do much decorating on, because I'm putting it in a library card pocket that is very decorated. So that's something else you can do. You don't have to actually decorate the card a whole lot if you were going to use a pocket that is decorated. And this is one of the pockets that I made in that first video I was telling you about, where I had some ideas for library card pockets. So for this one, since it was plain, just to kind of give it a little bit more interest, I just changed the shape of it to mimic a traditional tag. And then I just added some stickers and this kind of you know, 3D little stick or two, just for a little more interest, and then some ribbon at the top. And when I want to make my own tag, or take something that's already like a rectangular shape and cut it into a tag, I cannot just cut the edges like eyeballing it, because they always come out uneven. So for this, I just kind of measured 3/4 of an inch in from either end, and looking for my pencil, and then I made a little mark, and then that way I know that it's even. So just measured in 3/4 of an inch here, and just made a little dot, and 3/4 on this end. And then just using this line here on both sides, because I know that's an even straight line, I just start from the corner and line up to that dot I made at the top. And then that way I know that the two sides are even. And then I grab my hole punch and make a hole in the top. And so, you know, you can use a regular tag to put in your library card pockets, but you can just take your library card and turn it into a tag and have this little ribbon at the top so it kind of pulls out. It's my glue stick. Yeah, so I just kind of, I'm always using florals, but this is a great place just to add a sticker and, you know, just a couple things right there at the top. So really simple. I mean, this isn't anything too special or complicated. But let's see, I was going to find another just sticker to put on top. I love this sticker pad. There are so many stickers in here. And yeah, just kind of keep it the same as what I started with. And just kind of add that there. And add an enamel sticker just so it's not like all flat. I like to add different kinds of texture, whether it's, you know, with fabric or material or trims. And in this case, I'm just going to use an enamel dot. And I really love the hard ones. Get a little closer. And then again, just kind of keeping with doing things in threes, adding a word sticker here is a good spot. I love how there's different fonts on these, and I don't know, all the phrases, I never have trouble finding one that is really cute and just happy. Sorry, I'm working on a really small table, and it's not really that the table's small, it's just that my video area is small, like to kind of get things in the screen. I'm not sure how to go about changing that. So this word sticker is a little bigger, so I think if I can get that up, I want to move that. And that is not coming off too good. Let's see. Oh, I don't like that. So I am actually going to trim it down. I think it's too wide, too much white space there, because I'm working in such a small area. I don't want there to be so much white space. Oh, I can't get the sticker to move, so I'm just going to slide it up. And then I just added some ribbon to the top. And this is some of my favorite ribbon. This is American Crafts, and some of their like big collections like Paige Taylor Evans, and Maggie Holmes. They all have ribbon, which I did not know until like last year. I came across it in Hobby Lobby, and that's the only place I've seen it. I couldn't find it online, but they have really pretty ribbons that coordinate with some of their collections. So I've got a few rolls of that. I think they also have Amy Tangerine and a few of their other like popular sellers. And it's just really pretty ribbon. It's really nice quality. So I like to staple. Again, I didn't cut that very well. So you can tie the ribbon, but this is another place I like to use a staple, and I just twist the ribbon when it goes through the hole so you can see both patterns, you know, so you can see the pattern instead of seeing the back that does not have any pattern on it. So I just kind of twist it there, and then I staple it pretty close to the top of the tag. And it's just kind of a cute, kind of casual, not too neat look. And I think that's fun. Oh, I can't get my stapler in there. So there we go. All right. So a really simple tag, and this is great for just adding to a pocket that you already have ready to go. And the last one I want to share with you, you make a little space here, is this guy. So this one is a library card that I turned into a pocket. So instead of putting it in a pocket, I just turned it into a pocket. So you could use a little journaling card here, or this is actually also from the Reset Girl, and it's from, let me grab it, this printable collection, Meaningful. This is one of my favorite collections of hers. This is at least a year old. It might even be 2. I think she still has it available though on the website. And so yeah, I love the colors, and the florals in this collection are some of my favorites. So I'm just going to, I already cut out the one on this pocket here, but I will use this one here at the bottom for this card. And so this is a fun little thing where you're just kind of making the library card into a fun pocket. So you can still journal on the lines of the library card, but then you have that pocket area, and that can just be a place to put some photos or memorabilia. And I didn't cut it out too neatly because I'm going to trim it when I put it on the library card. So yeah, so it overhangs. It's a little bit bigger, and I want that because I'm going to trim that off and make it a little bit neater. So I'm actually going to add the double-sided tape right to the library card, and then I'll trim off the excess, and that makes for a really neat edge instead of trying to measure it and hope that you get this the right size. So just need tape up to about here. And this tape tears really easily too. I've shared before this tape that I really like to use. I buy it on Amazon, and the brand is Best, B-E-S-T. And it comes in all different widths, and it tears really easy, but it's really sticky, which is nice. Oh, actually we have one more to make after this one. I skipped one. So we are going to turn this into a pocket, and this one's going to get a little more decorative. Gosh. So let me clean up the top edge there. I would normally use a paper trimmer, but I didn't want to haul that over here onto my little table. So I'm just cutting this by hand, so it's not going to be super, super straight. And then line that up there, making sure it goes all the way to the bottom. Yep. And then we'll just trim off the excess. Okay. And then what I did, so I just have some little things in there. You can put your die cuts, you can put some ephemera in there. And so the top of this one, just for the heck of it, just for something different, I added these 2 holes and tied some baker's twine to it. So what I first did was I put the reinforcer stickers on the top first, and then I hole punched. So you can use reinforcer stickers, or you can use a reinforcer punch if you have this neat little punch from We Are Memory Keepers. That way you can punch any patterned paper, and I like doing that because then I can have the colors that I want to coordinate with what I'm doing. So I always save, obviously I save scraps. I mean, this is a really big scrap, but I even save these little strips. Like if I ever trim these strips off, I save them because they usually have like an example of the pattern that's on the other side. So I will use these to either make these little reinforcer punches, or I will sometimes like cut a little banner out of these. So yeah, so I always save those. You probably do the same thing, but I thought I would just share that in case you don't. And this punch, I'm going to try to, I did this earlier. You can kind of see down inside. You probably can't see in the video, but that way I am not cutting into the actual pattern. Oh, I went too far to the edge. So that's the only thing with this punch. It's really hard to kind of see where you are punching. Oh, that one didn't go through. Well, let's see. So, best laid plans. I may have to get a bigger sheet. So I'm trying to like just get it on there because I knew the colors on this would work with what I was doing here. And I can't just squeeze this punch. It takes a little bit of pressure and it's not going through for some reason. So, and I've told you all, I don't know how to edit my videos yet, so you're going to have to watch me struggle with this piece. Oh, it's not working for some reason. Okay, so what we're going to have to do, I can't get the punch to work. Let me see if I can. I'll just use a little bit. I'm like really like stingy with my scraps. I hate to like punch into something and not be able to use that piece, but that is okay. We will sacrifice this edge of this paper. I don't know if there's something jammed with my, yeah. There must be something wrong with the, oh no, there it goes. Wow. Okay, so there's one. Huh. Wow. So, do you ever have punches that just like kind of stop working? I don't know what it is. So I've got one out. Let me just see if I can get one more out. Oh, gosh, it's not punching out. I don't know what is wrong with that. So we are going to use both of these, even though that one is not perfect. And I just use my glue stick to attach these. And I just eyeball where to put them at the top. And just kind of space them evenly. And then I hole punch. I find that's a little bit easier than hole punching first and then adding the reinforcer to it, but you can do it either way. And this can be used just with a regular standard hole punch. And then I just use some twine, and this is American Crafts twine, and I just happen to have this peach color that looks nice with this. And I'll show you a couple ideas for how you can use these in your journals. Here goes the glue stick again. I am very clumsy. So I just wrapped it through a couple of times. And then tie it in a bow. I love bows also. Anything that's pretty and feminine. It's kind of my style, I guess. That just adds some more interest, you know, to your library cards. Just another thing that you can do to them. And the last thing I added, I felt like it still needed something here at the top. And again, just to add more texture, I added some rickrack. And I had two sizes of rickrack. This probably like a 1/4 inch size, and then this 1/8 inch size. And this one is American Crafts rickrack. And this one actually I got at Target in their dollar spot quite a while back. So I added both of them just because I felt like the yellow wasn't quite enough. I don't know, I felt like it just still needed some more color there. So I figured I would add the other one on top, and that seemed to work out pretty well. So I just used glue. Oh, you know what? I think I used the skinnier one when I put this down. Yeah, it'll be okay. Because sometimes if you use double-sided tape with something like this, you can see the tape on the, you know, up the little spaces there between the little waves of the rickrack. So if I was doing this again, I would use the 1/8 inch wide rickrack. I mean the tape, sorry. The 1/8, so you don't have that extra little tape there. But for the really small one, I will obviously use that. And I just put the tape right on top. And this is somewhere else you could use some stitching, but it's kind of thick. So I don't know how that would really act on a sewing machine. And then this just goes right on top. And that's just kind of fun. So each one of these things, you know, it just takes a couple minutes, but it really can change up your journaling spots. So there's that one. And the last one that we have is this guy. And this one, again, is super, super simple. I love using doilies all different kinds of places in my journals. And this one is, I'm trying to find my doily. Oh, I misplaced it. Let's see. Gosh, I was really organized when I started out. Here it is. So this one is going to be neat when I show you the idea to use it inside of a junk journal. It's going to look kind of simple and plain here. But this is a 4-inch wide doily. They come in 3.5 inches, 4 and 4.5 inches. And there's some bigger ones too, but the ones that are around this size actually vary in sizes a little bit. So this is a 4-inch one. And I just have it come over a little bit, not just far enough to still allow you to have space on the front to write and also on the back. And I just kind of fold that over the edge like that. And I'm going to attach it so it's not loose, obviously. So I'm going to use my good old double-sided tape here. And I'm going to attach it, so I creased it so I know where my edge is. And I'm going to put tape kind of close to that crease there. So this whole side is still open. And I will show you why on that in just a second. So I'll do it on both sides. And just kind of line that up there. Back. And you could leave it just like this. I think that looks really pretty. Oh, I had two there. But I added a die cut there just for some more color and interest. And that one I attached with some foam dots. You could just glue it down just like it is. But I kind of like the way it pops off with a couple of pop dots on it. So these are really handy, these little pop dots on these sheets. It just makes it a little more interesting there. And the reason why I left it open is this makes it a little tuck spot. So you could add a photo there or just some kind of, you know, ephemera in there. And you can do that on both sides. So same thing with the back. So you just have like a little pocket there. And you can add that there. You could certainly glue it down and then maybe glue some more things on top. You could glue a photo on top of the back here and just write a little bit about the photo on the spaces that are still remaining. But that's just one idea for that. And that is our library cards, just 5 different ideas for how you can use library cards or how you can decorate your library cards. And now I'm going to show you a couple of ideas for how to use them in your journals. So I'm kind of scooting things out of the way, especially this glue stick, because you know I want to knock that down. All right. Let's see. So I only have one junk journal for myself. I probably should make myself some sometimes, but this one I made quite a while ago, and this is one of my Kitty Dory sewing pattern envelope journals. And so of course, these that I made here don't necessarily go with the colors in here exactly, although I tend to use similar colors, but I just want to show you some of the ideas I had for how you can add these inside. So the simplest one, and I've lost it already, was the one with, here she is, just this one that we decorated really simply. So she's great just to add. You can add this straight to a page. If you glue it down, obviously you lose all the lines on the back, which might be okay in some applications. You may not mind, but she's great just to add to a pocket. And I've got a pocket here somewhere made out of a bingo card, and I think she will fit in here. So you can just, you know, slide your, this one is like double thick. I don't usually make my pockets that way, but she just kind of goes in a pocket, and it's kind of cute because her face peeks out there. So you can just obviously add a library card to a pocket. You could stick it down to a page. You could also make this into a flip out. So you could add washi to the side of your page here. Trying to think if I want to add that to some washi tape will, you know, if you try to remove it, will take some of the page off, but I think we can go ahead and be brave and try that. So when I do a tip out, I just grab some washi that's not real narrow. So this is just a standard washi tape. Like I said, it's probably about 1 inch wide, and that works. And really wide washi works great also, maybe even a little bit better, but this works. So I just line my card up to the edge of the page, and if you put some washi on each side, I'm just going to tear it off there, and you just line it up with the edge of your page and just wrap it around. You've got an instant little flip out area. And then you can just kind of line that up so it's a little bit more straight. I just did this really quickly. And it just adds another space for journaling. And then you can have hidden journaling underneath. And the washi tape adds just some more color and design to your page. So that's an idea for that one. This one is fun. So the idea I had for this guy is adding it to, let me find, this page here, the top corner of your page. So you can paper clip this card in, and I love paper clipping things in because it allows you to move things around, you know, as you go. So I would add some kind of word here that goes with whatever you're doing on the page. And when you close your journal, you can see the tab peeking out of the top and the trim out of the side of your journal. So you kind of get like a 2-for-1 deal with that. And I love that, you know, when you can see the little trims and stuff on the edge of your page. And this is a way to do it without it being permanent on your page. And then you can move it around in your journal, you know, as you get in the mood to do different things or have different looks for your journal. So that's kind of a fun way to use this one. This little guy that's in a pocket, I would just add this right to a page. So, you know, you can add these little library card pockets to any page, and then you've got your tag that you can add to the pocket. And those are fun also to add in the front of a journal. This one already has one, but it's a great, like, kind of introduction to your journal. I think it kind of mimics where you normally would see library card pockets in, you know, old library books. So that's why I like to add them to the front of a journal. So there's an idea for that guy. And this one's kind of neat. So a lot of times if you're making junk journals, you know, the pages are all different widths. So you have like some smaller pages, kind of like this. here, and I think I've got an even smaller page back here. Yeah, so like this one here is almost like half a page, and this doily, because it's got that like space here, this pocket, you can slip it right over the edge of the page and it overhangs like that. And again, it's something, it's not permanent, you can move it around. And you know, I would take this out here and you can have some hidden journaling there, but the doily holds it onto the page like that. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then on this side, you've got the doily that shows, so that's kind of a little decorative piece. And then you can always add something there on top. This would be a great spot to put a photo. And then this also makes a pocket, so you can add some different things under here. So it's like a little tuck spot. So that's for that guy. And I think the last one is this little pocket. So again, this is something I would probably turn into either a tip-in right here, so you can still access the back, or I might glue it down and you could glue it to the edge of a page. This is my journal, so I should just kind of glue it down and not even worry about it. Like, oh no, maybe I might want to use that page for something else, but no, that's silly. So, and I'm not really a journaler, so I have this junk journal, and as you can see, there's not much in it because I am not really a memory keeper or a scrapbooker. I wish I was, but I just, you know, there's only so many hours in the day, and I choose to make things for other people and spend my time that way instead of making things for myself. So that's just where I am at this stage in my life. And so if you want to turn this into a tuck spot, that's what I'm doing here. You can just glue down the two edges and leave one open. And this will double as both a tuck spot and a pocket. So I'm going to add that right to the edge of this page here. And then I would add whatever little things I want to put in my pocket here. And then, you know, it's a little tuck spot that you can add other things. I'm trying to find something I have handy here on my table. You hear things falling off the table. And then it's a tuck spot. So it just adds some more layers, which is always fun. Oh, one thing I was going to show you with this also, and I'm not going to actually do this, but because you have these like holes punched here, you could add this to a page and actually hole punch at like the top of a page, and then retie this string. So I would undo the string and line this up to my page and hole punch right through the page and then retie the string. So this is just kind of hanging here at the top of the page. And then on the other side, you would have the back of this string, and then you could hang things from it. So just a couple different things you can do there with this one because of that string there. So those are just a few ideas for how you can use these library cards. Thank you for being patient with my stumbling and dropping things and my troubles with my tools. I appreciate you so much for being here. I hope you got a couple of ideas for yourself out of this, and I hope to see you again back here soon at Kitty Witty Papercraft. Take care. I'll see you soon.